So I didn't use it I didn't use it for 1 month. And on the very first month, there was a bill of 2950. That's the fees plus GST. I was thinking, this is a very bad product. What they're doing? Like, I have not used anything and there is a bill and I have to pay it within, 16, 17 days. I closed that card. Are you an impulsive buyer? Are you someone who likes to show up? Then even if the credit card is giving you 80% return, 90 or 100% return, you should never ever take it.
Hello and welcome. This is Neil Borate. I am Deputy Editor at Mint. And my guest today is a professor at OP Jindal Global University. But more importantly, more interestingly, he is one of India's growing community of credit card geeks, as they say. So Kashif has a personal collection of, I think, 35 credit cards that we will go into further into the discussion. But Kashif, welcome.
Thank you so much, Neil.
So first, can you tell us a little bit about your career? What do you do? How did you get there, etc.?
The personal front or the credit card thing?
First, your career.
Okay, so I did my graduation from GU only, Hansraj College, and then I did my post-graduation from Delhi School of Economics. Luckily, started teaching at Hansraj itself, and this year I changed it, like I worked for 7 years, and then I changed it from Hansraj College to OP Jindal University. Currently working there as assistant professor. So that's on personal front. Credit card wise, this whole journey actually started when I became professor at Hansraj College. So I always had this fascination that there is a product called credit card, and this is way back in 2016. There was not enough information available about credit cards, and I wanted to try. Okay, let's try. What is this product which nobody knows about? I want to apply one card. And SBI fortunately was the card which was very famous at that point of time. There are two variants, Simply Save and Simply Click.
So I took Simply Save and Simply Click.
Yeah, Simply Click. So Simply Save is what I tried to apply, and I had no knowledge about credit card. So that was my first card that I applied. And then something happened after that credit card. I had applied another credit card of HDFC, and then I got to know they are just charging fees to me, and I'm not using the card also. So I stopped it at that point.
Sorry, COVID. So this is with SBI that you realize that they're charging fees.
I had no idea about credit card, and I think like even till today, I would say half of the Indian finance people who are interested in finance, they do not understand like how credit card works, and even the basic stuff is not available. As much of information that we have about mutual funds or stock, like a teenager at 19 or 20 years old, I think most of them who are the millennials, they have the understanding about what mutual fund is, what stock is. Unfortunately for credit cards, we do not have that much of information till now. So at that point of time, I didn't know what is welcome, what is joining fees, what is renewal fees, and what will happen, how credit cards works. This I didn't know. So I applied another card of HDFC after that. That was, I think, HDFC Regalia. And it had 2,500 rupees fees, right, plus GST. So I didn't use it I didn't use it for 1 month. And on the very first month, there was a bill of 2,950. That's the fees plus GST. I was thinking, this is a very bad product. What they're doing? Like, I have not used anything, and there is a bill and I have to pay it within, 16, 17 days. I will close it. I closed that card. I said, why would I pay 3,000 rupees? I have not done anything. I closed that card, and then this credit card chapter 1.0 was closed at that moment only.
But you still had your SBI one?
Yeah, SBI one I had. Later in COVID, when I had studied about everything related to personal finance, but credit card was something that I was not aware of even at that point of time. That is the time when I started researching more about credit cards. And then I got to know that how much opportunity we have in credit cards if we have a good genuine spend. And that is when I started, applying cards. So one thing led to another, 2 cards, 3 cards, 4 cards, 5 cards, started like this. And currently, if you see, it would be around 25 or 26 like active cards that I have.
Interesting. So before we turn to how you pick your cards, all of that, how are you as an investor? Like, where all do you invest? How do you plan your finances?
So finances, a very simple rule that I follow. I don't track markets that much. So I have some fundamental stocks that I have bought, and I have bought for very, very long term, like it's 10 to 15 years kind of thing. Maybe three, once in a quarter or once in a 6 months, I check what is happening over there. Otherwise, I don't even track markets. Most of the money goes into mutual funds, some of them in the index fund, and another in different categories of mutual fund. That's one head. Apart from that, I have some relationships with banks also. So I do keep some relationship with them, not with very huge amount, but with a, I would say 2-3% of overall my portfolio with them. Then there are sovereign gold bonds that I regularly keep buying whenever I think that it is justified.
So when you say relationship with banks, as in bank FDs, etc.
Yeah, so bank FDs, bank FD whenever I require. Apart from that, I keep some of the money with, like I had kept some of the money with the savings scheme that we have with post office also. So that's one. My father has some other investments. So accordingly, I do not track it on individual basis. I track it on my family basis.
Right.
So on that.
And how much of your monthly paycheck are you able to save? What percentage?
Right now, because like this university is providing everything to us, and in that sense, I would say that it has increased. I would say around 60%. So have not tracked that much, but on average, I can say around 60% I'm able to.
But you're not tempted after having so many cards that you want to spend all your.
No. So I will tell one thing that I tell everyone. There is a theory from my side, which is a two-step need theory. The first question that I always ask before, giving my card or swiping my card or, entering the 16 digits of my credit card on any online portal is, do I need it? Is it just because the banks are trying to or tempting me with some offer? Is it because of that I'm buying this particular product, or do I actually need this product? So if I need that product, if it passes the criteria number one, whether that is of use of me or not, if it is of use, then my second step is, how can I reduce my cost from, let's say, 100 rupees to 95 or 94? How much discount or how much reward I can get on my spend? Because I have already decided now that I have to spend on this. This is of my use. So it's always like that. I am definitely a very conservative buyer, if there is a term like that. So I am like that only. So for me, I don't think credit card I have ever overspent it because of credit card.
Right. So now let's turn to how you pick your credit cards.
Okay.
What is your favorite one?
So difficult to say that which one is most favorite. For different categories, there could be different cards, and I will give you an example of this. For Airtel recharges, specifically for Airtel recharges, I have a card called Access Airtel card. That card gives 25% cashback on Airtel recharges up to a limit, right? So if I have to recharge my whole, everyone in my family has Airtel only. So if we recharge our prepaid numbers, it's always that card. That card is my favorite for that category.
And you get 25%.
25%. There is a limit over that, like 400, but I think that's enough for a family. So if I look at the recharges category, obviously that card is my best card. If I look for, let's say, my wallet categories, whenever I generally keep Paytm wallet, I rarely keep cash. Like even right now, if you see, it won't be 30-40 rupees, something like that. So for wallets, obviously MX cards. For overall, if you ask me one card that's...
Sorry, just to interrupt you 1 second. So when you recharge a wallet through a credit card, is there not a charge that Paytm applies?
Yes, there is. But another example that I gave in class, you have two options. Now you have to tell me. I'm trying to be a professor, but sorry for that. There are two options. You have to choose one. Okay, one where let's say a person is telling you that you have to give me 1 rupees, I will give you 10 back, and another person is saying you have to give me 20 rupees and I will give you 200 rupees back. Which one you will take?
The second.
Why? But he is asking more. He is not asking for 1 rupees. He is asking for 20 rupees.
I see.
So the point is not the cost. The point is we have to check what is the net impact on us. If there is a cost, there must be a reward attached to it. If the reward is compensating the cost, then why won't I go for that thing? Let's say, even if there is charge on my wallet reload, if the charge is, let's say, for example, if the charge is 1.65%, and if I'm getting a return of 7%, I'm still in benefit. 7 minus that 1.5, 1.65, still it is 5.5, 5.45%, right? So that's the whole calculation that we have to do.
So the 7% reward is the reward that Paytm gives for various spending done through the.
It's on Amex card, and it's a like difficult calculation to do that how I'm arriving at 7. But there is something called Amex trifactor. So they have 3 cards: Amex membership reward card, Gold Charge, Platinum Travel. On 2 of their cards, MRCC and Gold, they have the bonus points that they give if you are able to reach monthly milestone of 6,000 rupees. So it's because of that and how you utilize those points. Amex have transfer partners. So whole game is in points and miles. So after calculation of that, according to your need, you will understand that it will be somewhere around 7%. It can even go to 16-17%. Conservatively, we will say 7%. So if I am, just paying 1.65, I don't mind paying 1.65.
Right. So the benefit is on the Amex card, not on Paytm.
No, Paytm does not have any benefit per se. It's the credit card through which I am loading.
But then why use a wallet? Why not directly pay through the credit card online or offline?
Yeah, so the problem with MX cards is MX do not have a very good offline acceptability. Yes, Gurgaon, yes, Mumbai, yes, Delhi also to some extent. But apart from this, you will not see, even in Delhi, you will see many people will not accept MX cards, even if they have the tie-up with MX, because MX charges higher rate of MDR, approx 3.5%, where the industry rate is 2%.
Yeah.
So if somebody also has MX, he will say, no, this machine is not working, or we do not accept MX.
All the machines magically stop working.
Yeah, they will say, or they will not switch it on for MX specifically.
Okay. So you don't have a specific favorite credit card, but there must be one card where you spend most of your money.
Yeah, so primary cards, we call them primary cards, like the one which are in my wallet. So right now the primary cards, there are 3 that I'm keeping for this point. One of them is this Indocent Easy Diner card. The other one is IDFC Vistara card, and the most spending on which I used to do earlier and right now in my wallet is Axis Magnus. So before September, it was, if you would have asked me this question, I would have without any doubt said that it was Axis Magnus. But now I have to strategize a little. I'm keeping 3.
But it's really hard to get Axis Magnus, right? How were you able to get it?
Maybe I earn good amount of money. That could be one reason. So yeah, so my salary was enough for Magnus at that point of time. So that's the thing. But there are other ways also. You might have seen someone who is not even earning that much is able to get a card, because sourcing a card or applying for a card has 2 ways actually. One is on the basis of your income criteria. Another is on the basis of someone else's card, which is known as C2C, card to card. So what you are basically saying is that if HDFC has given me the card, on the basis of that, why Axis is not giving me the card? So that is the competitiveness that is there. So even if you are not eligible through income route, you can go through the C2C route, card to card route, and you can get those cards.
So essentially you call up the bank and tell them that, listen, your rival has given me this card, why don't you give it?
Yeah, every bank has this option, except for few. For example, MX does not have this C2C option. But most of the Indian banks have this option that you can apply either through income, your salary slips and everything, or you can apply through card to card method, where you have to give statement of your existing card and they will check that whether this fulfills the requirement or not, and you will also get it.
It's almost like a set of dominoes, right? You get one card,
Yeah.
and you can get the next, and you can get the third.
Yeah. So we say in our world that getting the first card only is difficult. And slowly you will move up the ladder, and once you have got one card, you can get the second, third, fourth, and then you keep upgrading it. Even let's say you're starting at a very low variant, you start upgrading it slowly and steadily. You will get offers, you will spend on that, you will get your credit limit will be increased. And generally the cards related to upgradation of cards, generally most of the time the criteria is of the limit only. There are other limits also, but the most important limit is if your credit limit has increased, you can ask for the upgradation. So that is how people.
Have you ever been rejected for a credit card?
Recently, the first one, I was never rejected. So there were 2 cases. One was I had applied for RBL Zomato credit card. They had approved my application, but their app had these bugs. So I was not able to apply. Then I escalated it to RBI and everything. Then they were ready to
RBI itself? Huh?
Yeah. So if the RBI has a rule, what they say is, if any bank has rejected your credit card application, then they have to give the reason. Okay. In US, the reasons are very, very specific. For example, if the bank says, okay, Neil, I cannot give you the card, then they tell you, I cannot give you a card because let's say you had more than 10 inquiries on your Cibil in last 2 months, something like that. In India, what banks generally follow is they say that your eligibility or your particular application doesn't meet our internal criteria. So that's a very weak thing. What's your internal criteria? Nobody knows. So I had escalated this, and at that point of time they were ready, to give, but then I said that it's too late now, I will not take it. So that's not a real rejection. The real rejection happened this time. So
and incidentally, RBL Zomato is now discontinued, right?
it was discontinued because it's a very fascinating story. It was known as a birthday card. So when the product team were designing that particular card, they said that you will get 10% Zomato wallet amount as cashback on any amount that you spend on your birthday. Now people started leveraging this. So people were spending 6 lakhs, 7 lakhs on the date of birthday. And they have now 60,000, 70,000 Zomato credits, enough for a year or maybe 4-5 months. So that I think was not sustainable, and that is why RBL and Zomato, closed that.
Kashif, you're inviting me to your next birthday, right?
So next birthday, yes, I will invite, don't worry. Now we have Swiggy SDFC card, but there are other ways. Like it's very difficult to tell everything in a podcast, but in India right now, a reward rate of 7 to 8% is easy to get if you have good amount of expenditure.
So we'll come to that in a minute, but what was the second rejection
Second rejection happened recently. That was also a known thing. So Amex only gave 2 credit cards and 1 charge card as a general policy, although there are exceptions.
Sorry, what is a charge card?
So a charge card is similar to a credit card, but the only point of distinction is that in a credit card, you can revolve it. So if a credit card bill is 1 lakh, you can pay minimum due and continue to use it and not categorize that defaulter. So although it will incur the interest around 36 to 54% per year, but you will not be declared as defaulter. You can continue using
banks
it.
want you to do that, right?
Yeah, bank obviously would want a certain percentage of their customer to be revolvers. That's the major chunk of money is where it is coming. In case of a charge card, there is no option to revolve. So you have to pay everything at once. There is no option that you can pay partly or less than the amount that is there. That's one. Another thing is charge cards generally do not have a pre-spending limit. Like every credit card, when you get the credit card with the pamphlet, you will always be assigned a credit limit. Charge cards do not come with a credit limit called so and so, but obviously this decided spend limit also has some criteria. According to your spending history, they decide how much they can give you. So that's one facility on charge card.
Right. So you were saying that Amex has a rule that they issue 2 credit cards and 1 charge card per person.
Per person. So that's the general rule. But if you have platinum, and there are exceptional cases also you can get. So out of just my curiosity, I had applied the 3rd credit card, which on directly I got that reply that we cannot give you. So that is like, although they have not reported this on my Cibil. So this also doesn't count as a rejection because there is no record of that on my Cibil profile.
Achha, normally if they reject you, it comes on the Cibil report, is it?
So Amex has a very different policy. They generally do not do Cibil inquiries unless and until the profile is too old, let's say 1 year, 2 year old. So my profile was not that old, so they don't do. For other companies, SBI, SDFC, every time you will apply a card, they will do a Cibil inquiry.
And if they reject you, it comes in the report?
Yeah, so report doesn't say that whether it was rejected or not, but report says that this lender has an inquiry on the Cibil.
I see. And that's a bad thing, right? To have too many inquiries.
Yes. So too many inquiries, having too many inquiries are bad. So credit score, the Cibil score or credit score that we have in India, it's dependent on 5 factors actually. So the most important factor is you should not miss payments. That is around 30 to 35% wages, depending on different bureaus that we have in India. That's the most important. You should not, because that will have a very long impact, 6 months to let's say 1 year.
So when you say missed payments here, you're not talking about the revolving thing that we just spoke about. You're saying if you don't even pay the minimum balance, if you just default.
Yes. So if you pay minimum due also, it is not considered a missed payment. Although you are paying the finance charges, but it is not considered as a missed payment. If you pay less than your minimum due, then it is considered a missed payment. Then there are categories of missed payment also. Have you missed it for less than 30 days, more than 30 days, more than 90 days, according to that. So that is the most significant factor. Then you have how many secured and secured.
So what would it do to a credit score? Let's say that my credit score before such a missed payment is, I don't know, 680, let's say. That's a good score, right?
Anything above 750 is good.
So let's say it's 750.
Yeah.
And I miss one payment. I'm forgetful. It's not because I don't have money.
Yeah.
What happens to my credit?
So it will depend profile to profile. But for a new person who does not have a long history, like I have a very long history. If someone does not have a very long payment history, his Cibil score or her Cibil score will go down by 200, around 200 points. So straightforward from 780, 790, you will be at the levels of 580, 590, 600, something like that. If somebody has a very good Cibil history of, let's say, 5 years, 6 years of no missed payment, still it will impact by 50, 60 points.
And is it possible to recover from that kind of damage?
Yes, but it will take time. It will take around 1 year, maybe 6 months, 7 months, minimum to minimum till 1 year. So the credit bureaus also constantly keep changing their algorithms. So right now in India, like the whole market, the market leader is Cibil. So we generally say it's Cibil score, but there is Experian also. There is other credit bureaus as well. But if you look at the Cibil score, the algorithm that they had last year, the algorithm right now they have this year is a little lenient this time. But still, I think 6 months, 7 months, it will take you to, you won't be able to get to that level also, but to a respectable level, yes, it will take 6-7 months of rebuilding.
Now let's come to the return that you actually make by using credit cards. What number is that?
On average, like as I told you, so Axis, let's say Axis Airtel is giving 25, but that's on a very small expenditure. On, let's say, a very large expenditure, I am earning only 5-6%. If we take an average of that, the average would be around 10%.
And
10 to 12, yeah, 10 to 12 it should be.
Per month?
Overall, yeah, I'm calculating on yearly expenditure.
So 10% annualized?
Yeah, annualized.
That's amazing. That's return on spending. It's not even return on investment.
Yeah, that is what I was telling my class also, that 10% in mutual fund industry is considered a very good rate, where you are holding your money to someone. Here, you are not giving your money to someone, you are doing something which you would have done. Somebody may not invest, somebody's investment may be zero, but there is no person in world whose spending is zero. That's not possible.
Correct.
So you are earning on something which you anyways were going to do, provided that you are not overspending. So one advice that I have for everyone, and whosoever comes for me that what card is suitable for me, the first question I always ask is, are you an impulsive buyer? Are you someone who likes to show off? Then even if the credit card is giving you 80% return, 90 or 100% return, you should never ever take it. Because if you take it, there are chances you will overspend, and that thing escalates very quickly. You will not be able to understand in the flow that I am overspending, and after 6 months you will see I have done so much of over expenditure which was not necessary. So credit cards, like from customer perspective, I'm saying, is not built for someone who likes to show off or is an impulsive buyer. If he says, no, I'm not this, then there are credit cards that I can tell you.
It's always a fight against the bank, right? The reason why you're able to earn 10% is because somebody else out there is not so prudent. They are paying hefty interest charges of 30-40% a year. They are the ones who are paying all kinds of penalties, and that subsidizes you and people like you.
Yeah, it's like everything in world. You have to be in top 5% or top 1% of everything, right? There are 100 people. Bank do not mind losing to 3 or 4 people, provided they are getting money or earning something from 990 people.
Yeah,
they will not kill. Like in long term, obviously bank will only win. What you have to do is to survive. You have to be in top 1%, 5%. If you are there, if you are in top 10, you will get better return. You might think, what kind of scam this is? How come bank who is only earning an MDR of 2, even that is distributed among network and as well as issuing bank and the other bank. So how come those who are only earning 1-2%, they are giving us a return of 8-9%? The point is, not everybody will win. You have to just make sure that you are on the other side where you are winning.
correct. You're part of the 1%.
Yes, till now, so definitely. I hope so that it will continue.
How much do you spend per month?
Per month spending, see, it depends. Generally, it is around 50, 60, 70, but it depends. Like I plan it very well. So for like one hack that I can tell everyone, if your electronic requirements are not very immediate, there are two sales which I consider is sales in reality in India. Rest everything is bogus. There is Big Billion Day sale and counterpart GIF, Great Indian Festival sale, which just passed by.
The Amazon one.
Amazon one, yes. And the next sale which will come will be the Diwali sale. So these are the two big sales and genuine sales. Rest everything is just for the namesake only. You plan all your electronic expenditures or electronic purchases over there. So this is what we do. Last to last year we bought somewhere around 3 point some lakh of electronics and everything. Last year also we bought somewhere around 2.5. This year also it's close to 2 or 2.5. So on monthly basis I would say it would be 50 to 60,000 somewhere there. But in months like in the month of Diwali, BBD, generally January, it will go way above 150, 162 lakhs also. So it depends on that. It will touch over.
What
there.
happens in Jan?
So Jan generally we take a family trip or something like that. So that's one of our expenditure that we do. And then there is other things that we plan to buy. Generally we buy at the beginning of the year. That's like kind of our personal plan.
And I'm assuming you've never converted a credit card purchase into an EMI?
No, never. So my point is, see, I use my credit cards like debit cards. I am not using credit cards because I am in short of funds or I need funds. No, that's not the reason. There is a bank which is giving me return, which debit cards are not able to give. That is why I'm using the credit card. I have enough money in my bank. I could have directly bought it from there. I am not taking a loan. Right? So I am using credit cards because they are giving better rewards. Then I am not. That is why I am not using debit cards.
There are even some unexpected categories where you can use credit cards to maximize rewards, right? For example, electricity bill payments. For example, tax payments.
Yes.
And usually tax payments are substantial.
Yes.
Do all cards have this feature? Like, what's the game then?
So banks are catching up very fast. The banks always understand that something which a person is anyway going to do is a compulsory liability on that person. Why to give reward on that? Because they are not initiating you to do something over and above what you would have done. That's a compulsory thing everybody will do. So generally we'll see rewards on wallet, rewards on rent, reward on utility payments, reward on government expenditure. Most of the card will not give. There are very few cards that you have to select and you have to analyze. Only those cards are allowing you these particular things. Otherwise, no card will give you any points on this.
What kind of card will still give points?
Yeah, there are many. So Vistara co-branded card, most of them do give. Atlas till now is giving.
Axis Atlas.
Axis Atlas is giving, and then there are few other cards, but very few now.
Right. So to figure out which is the right card for the right spend, how much time do you have to give?
See, it's the same example which we get through, that there was a famous painter and a lady came to him and said that, can you build this painting? He said, sure, why not? In 10 minutes, he, constructed that particular painting. And then she said, what's the price of this? The painter said, it's worth 1 crore. She's saying that you have only invested 10 minutes of your time. Why it is 1 crore, right? He said, lady, I have invested 10 years or 20 years learning that how to do it in 10 minutes, right? So the price is not for the 10 minutes, but what I have learned over those 10 years.
Right.
So similarly, if you tell me, I would take around maybe 1 hour to tell you. But if you do that on your own without all the knowledge that I have acquired over the years, it will take you a very long time. Maybe if you devote 2 hours, 3 hours every day, it might take you even more than 2 months, something like that, to understand all the cards and everything.
Yeah.
So it's basically that.
But for you to keep up as well, you have to devote some time every day or every week.
Definitely, yeah, definitely. So this is my personal belief that in personal finance, credit cards and taxes are two things which are very dynamic in nature. So, okay, taxes still, the amendments happen annually. Okay, there will be some circular quarterly, major things. But in credit card, every month something will happen. At least in India, every month something, somewhere other something is happening, some devaluation is happening, somebody has closed something or some new card is coming, so you have to be very up to date. So that is where the community also plays in part, and you keep checking also what is coming new. And then our contacts at bank also, whenever they're coming up with something, they also tell us that this is what we are planning. So we have idea about this. If you ask me how much time to devote on average, I would say to understand credit cards in India right now, you should devote around 1 hour to see what's happening. You should know like what's happening simultaneously in the
1 hour
industry.
oh
1 hour a day, I'm saying.
Wow.
At least this much so you should do. Then only you will be able to understand everything, minor details, major details, all that. At least this much you should do.
And there are groups like I've seen Twitter spaces and things that you've done that helps.
Yes. So Twitter spaces, generally I answer the questions and we discuss, like we 4 or 5 people will discuss. We will discuss about some point, and for awareness perspective, there are Discord groups, there are Telegram groups, there are WhatsApp groups. So these are where people actually try and test everything, and they also tell us that what is happening. Some feedbacks we give, some feedbacks we get from other people also. So that's like, it's a closely knit community of online people who rarely meet offline, but they know each other by name and everything.
Okay. Now to come back to the question I asked you about which is the best card, you said it depends on the kind of spending, etc. And I fully agree. But if you had to just mention 2 cards, one for high spenders and one for low spenders, people who are in their first or second job. Full disclaimer, I think speaking to you and to other people, we have in Mint come up with two such cards, but they don't have to necessarily be ones that you would say. So which would be the ones that?
Okay. Right now in India, at the lowest level, entry level, if you say, I would suggest there is a card from SBI called SBI Cashback. It comes with a fees of 999 plus GST. That's effectively 1,180 rupees. So that's the card that you should take. 5% cashback on all major things. It frees you from any particular e-commerce portal. So there is Amazon, ICICI card also, there is Axis Flipkart also. But the problem is when you take Axis Flipkart, you have to shop on Flipkart
tied
itself.
To a particular.
Yeah, and when you go to ICICI Amazon, you have to shop at Amazon also. This will give you 5% overall. That's a pretty good basic card. And another cards, if you can get,
is there a limit on this?
On this particular card, as
5% up to a.
Yeah, 5% up to now it is 5,000 is the cashback thing. So till 1 lakh expenditure that you do, you will get 5% of that as 5,000.
Right, per month.
Per month. That's a per month limit. The second card that I would say, if you can get it, is the Amex MRCC and Amex Gold through anyone's referral, because MRCC through anyone's referral will become.
This is at high spending level or low?
Low. I would say low. The problem is Amex, you might not live in a city where Amex is serviceable. That's the issue. And Amex doesn't give you the card as the first card, so you at least have one other company's card, and then you can come back to Amex.
But then you can do the hack that you do, which is Paytm, and that's how you can
use so Paytm, and there are other things also. That card is very, very rewarding. So Amex MRCC plus Amex Gold combo that you can take if you
What does MRCC stand for?
MRCC is Membership Reward Credit Card.
Okay.
So MRCC and Gold Card that you can take at lower level. These will.
And what's the percentage return on Amex?
5% over there, excluding some of the genuine categories where, like I told you, utility and others. This card you will get around 7%. 7% to 6% is minimum to minimum. I'm saying it can go to 10%, 11% also.
Okay, so 5% is SBI, 6 to 7% is Amex.
Yeah, 6 to 7% is Amex. If you're converting it into, let's say, Amazon vouchers. Higher level, the card right now, which again is the king. There was a king, then there was a prince called Magnus. Now again the king is Infinia only. So if you're spending at higher level, then Infinia is one of the, like, if you only want to take one card, then it is Infinia. Otherwise, there was a one card which is now discontinued, that was City Prestige. So now you cannot get it unless and until you are a City card holder and you can upgrade it. So City Prestige was a good card. Axis Atlas is a good card. But one card if you want to take, it
HDFC Infinia, which is really hard to get, right?
Yeah, they have this policy that they do not go very lenient with their application process. It is difficult to get.
So it's only by invite, right? You can't fill up a form and it doesn't.
No, that they say that it is by invite, but anyone who has income, as we discussed, over 40 lakhs can easily get it. Anyone who has a credit limit on HDFC card over and above 8 lakhs or 10 lakhs, let's say, for safer side, and has spent around 8 to 9 lakhs in last 6 months can request for upgrade to HDFC Infinia. Dependent, but most of the time they will accept and they will give you Infinia.
And can you do it online, or you have to go to your bank and talk to your relationship?
You can do this online also. There are specific mail IDs where you can mail. You can, if you want to fill the form and send it to physically, then you can send it to Chennai office also. The only invite card, I would say, to a certain extent in India right now is only MX Centurion. All other cards you can get it if you have them.
And what kind of return will you get on Infinia?
Infinia's, most of Infinia's return is on their affiliate portal, which is Smart Buy. So on Smart Buy, the general return rate is 3.3%. But on Smart Buy, on specific things, you get 3x, 5x, 10x. So you just multiply it by that. So if the normal reward rate is 3.3%, you're getting 5x on vouchers, it becomes 16.67%. But that has a cap. So that is a cap that you can only earn these many points, 15,000 points in a month.
That's how much in rupees?
To earn 15,000 points in a month, you have to spend, you can calculate, you have to spend 25 by 150. You just multiply it by 150 and divide it. It will be somewhere around 1 lakh, less than 1 lakh, like 93,000, 94,000 you have to spend to get 15,000 reward points at 5x.
And 15,000 reward points is how many rupees?
50,000 reward points, as we value it, if you are using it for flights, it's 1 point is equal to 1 rupee.
Oh.
So it's almost equivalent. On Amazon, generally on offers, they come up with some offer. Otherwise, it is 50. But on Amazon vouchers, if you want to convert specific timing, it goes to 70% also. On Apple, Tanishq also, they have a very good offer.
Right, but very conservatively, that's a 15% return on a 1 lakh.
Yeah, 15%, you can say. But the problem is that you cannot get it on 4 lakh, 5 lakh monthly expenditure. It has a limit of 15,000 only. So after 19,000, you will.
There's no use.
Yeah, you will go back to your 3.3% return.
Got it. All right, Kashif, can we see some of your cards now?
Yeah, definitely. Okay, these are some of the cards that I have. I will just give you a quick review of these cards. These are some of them. So this is SBI Cashback, which I was talking about. Then there is Magnus. There is IDFC Vistara, there is MX cards also. This is MX Platinum. You will see other MX also. MX MRCC is there, Gold is there, HSBC card, which is apparently difficult to get if you have so many other cards. Then there is Access Airtel, which I was talking about. This is another good card, Tata Neo, which is very good for UPI payments.
Very minimalistic design also.
Yeah, it's a very good card for UPI thing. Then there is City Premium Miles. There is this IndusInd one which I recently got. So these are some of them.
Any metal cards?
Yeah, so one card is metal. Magnus is this Magnus is also metal. One card is metal. So two right now which I have is metal.
Can I feel it? Must be heavy.
Yeah, it must be heavy.
Yeah.
So normal, like when you give it to someone, that person will be able to identify that this card is different from all other plastic cards.
Yeah. The famed Magnus. I finally hold it in my hand.
Yeah. It was. Let's see how famous it is post the evaluation.
From these, which are the famous ones?
The famous one is this Magnus, MX cards, the City cards, and when you go to higher rank, the game becomes more about the air miles and points rather than cashbacks, because you would like to get highest reward from there. So most of the cards which allow you the transfer partners to hotel or loyalty points, those cards are famous now among those people who have good expenditure.
What's been your best month? The 1 month where you maxed it out, you were able to get the best air miles points.
Okay, 1 month when I had spent 2 lakhs, that was a very good month. So 1 lakh was on Magnus, and then I had strategized at how much I have to spend on Plat and other cards. So that, I think, like that, I have not calculated how much I got. Obviously 25,000 points over there and this, but that month would have been the best month in my memory. That would give me a very good return.
Did you go on a specific holiday after that?
Holidays, I am just planning it because we get this semester break. So it has to be in semester breaks because classes I cannot miss. So it has to be either in this December, January thing or the next June, July thing. So it will be there only. But when I go for holiday, like I would like to go for a long holiday of 5-6 countries instead of just going for one or two. We are going one that I will tell you after this. We are going one in India. That's a family trip. So that would be one.
And I think one of these cards has a really good tie-up with Accor Hotels, right?
Yeah, so Axis and SDFC right now have tie-up with Accor. So all Axis cards give you the opportunity to transfer points from there to Accor, and SDFC also gives you this.
Which is Novotel, Sofitel, all of that.
Yeah, so they have all categories. The ultra luxury category will be Raffles and Banyan Tree and others. Novotel, Sofitel will come in luxury, Pullman over there. Mid category would be Novotel, and the budget category is Ibis Styles and all those hotels.
Kashif, thank you so much. It was lovely speaking to you.
Thank you so much, Neil, for having me.
Investments in securities market are subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before investing.